Welcome to the tutorial video for the Industrial Ecology Data Commons Validator. The Industrial Ecology Data Commons, IEDC, is a public database hosted on the University of Freiburg server. It contains more than 250 datasets structured into a general data model for socioeconomic metabolism. We have stocks, flows, product properties like lifetimes or material compositions, process capacity factors, and all kinds of general ratios. So for example, if you would like to search for lifetime data, you search for the right data type, 3LT, and you get a list of lifetime data sets. It's 28 at the moment that you can select. Then you get displayed the information, displayed sample data, and you can download them to an Excel file for your own use. From this year, 2025 onwards, it is also possible to submit your own data to the IEDC. To do that, you need to format the data in a template and then validate the structure and the use of right labels in this template against the IEDC. For this, we have created the Industrial Ecology Data Commons Data Template Validator. So this is a web application with some additional instructions here and examples, which I will show you now, where you in principle can simply upload your own data set and then selecting it and have it validated. We'll do this in a moment. First, let me explain the general steps of the procedure of how to submit data to the IEDC for upload. So we have 5 steps to follow. The first one is please check the data types that have been defined: lifetime, product capacity, unit process inventory, stocks, flows, population, and so on. And make a decision which of the data types fits best to the data that you would like to submit. Then download a template from the validator page to format your data. Either list template or a table template. There's 2 ways of getting it. Either you go to the validator page and download the template there, or you select a data set from the main database that is similar to what you would like to upload, and then you download these data to use as template. So you take your own data in the third step from the PDF or the Excel, wherever the data are located, and format them to a list or table structures. This is then something that we will use to validate. If you have done this, use the template and added your own data, you can go to the validator and upload the data for checking. And this is what I'll show you now. We have a cover page where the data are described. This first needs to be brought in order, and then we have the actual data page where the data and the labels are shown. This then also need to be matched. And if all of this works, if the validation passes, you'll get no errors, and then you can reach out to us and we can then upload these validated data to the database in the course of this year. So let's go to the validator. So here again, you can select a data template, and the data are structured as follows. So this is a sample data set. You can download this from the validator page. Each data set has a cover sheet and a data sheet. The cover sheet has this large data set information block where we have the data type, the data description, the data aspects. Please check the general data model lecture on the main data page for the details here. So regions, time, processes, and so on. We have then the description of the data in terms of a semantic string. We have the licensing and the references for this data set to be put here. Everything that's listed in medium brown needs to have an exact match to one of the databases, data types, or classifications, and so on. So for medium brown, you need to make sure that whatever you put in here is already available, else an error will be thrown. The light brown values are free text values, so here you can add your own information, web links to papers and so on, or the description of the dataset. Then the data set has a formatting information. We need to know how many rows of data we have and also in which order the data set aspects are listed in the sheet, in the list sheet. So this needs to be put here. Then the actual data, you will see these orders here, the aspects, commodity in the process use phase in a certain region of a certain age cohort, for example. This is the lifetime parameter with an actual value and no uncertainty information. So this is what we have here. This is how the template looks like. And if we now take this template and then actually upload it, we can upload and validate, and the validator will check the structure and the labels, the years, the regions, and so on. Down here, you can toggle. The database will suggest alternative region or process or material labels to you if the ones that you put in cannot be found. Simple search is not very accurate, but goes fast. There is a Levenstein similarity algorithm between your label and the labels in the database. It takes longer time. So for small data sets below 1,000 data, take the Levenstein. For larger data sets, take the simple search. And we will upload the file and see what happens. The file was uploaded successfully, and after a few seconds, you get a data validation report. It reports how many data were there, whether the dataset name, version, type, layer, provenance, and so on is all correct. Everything that's green means yes, whatever you uploaded is defined in the database. It is possible. These data match, right? The data description matches. Also, the aspects you provided, the age cohort, the region, and so on, also matches with something that is already defined. Finally, the actual labels, use of consistent classification section here, the actual labels of commodities and the units could be found and could be matched to something that's already happening. So this data set, and again, you can download it from this link, is valid. It fits the structure and all the labels can be found. If you want, you can export this validation report as a PDF for your own records. We use this internally, for example, to compile reports for data compilation. So if you are at this stage, ultimately, no errors, no warnings, and all okay, you can contact us via information@indicol.uni-freiburg.de to submit the dataset for final check by our team and then the upload to the database. Normally, it will not go as smooth. So here we have an example where we have some errors in the template. If we upload those, so you will see the typical situation that we start with. Something wasn't correctly specified or defined, or you use a license or a data type that doesn't exist yet. Then you will get errors. So here, for example, we have an error that there are labels on the data set that are not defined. So for example, the label we use, battery electric bus. What could be wrong with this? If you look carefully, it says electric. So not electric, but electric. So there is a spelling mistake. And of course, then there is no verbatim match. So that's easy to fix. We would have to switch back to battery electric bus, which you see here is a suggested alternative label. Another one here, ship liquefied natural gas does not exist, but if you look in the list of alternative suggestions, you see ship LNG, which is the acronym for liquefied natural gas, exists. So we would switch this label to electric, adding an R, switch this label to ship LNG, and then the data template is correct again. So these are the wrong labels being used here. They cannot be matched. So you need to correct all non-matching labels to something that's already defined in the classification for the aspect of the data sets. Another example is that we can also use table-shaped data. The table-shaped data, there come as tables. So in the list-shaped the template, you have all the aspects in the different columns and each number then on each row. Table-based data come in tables, right? So here we have three aspects: commodity, region, time in the columns, and we have one row with aspects. So this gives you three hierarchical index columns and one index rows, and then the data here. So this is also how you can flexibly format the data into the template using tables with different row and column headers. You could also have two rows with labels, no problem. You would have to define it here. What are the column labels? What are the row labels? And the data validation works exactly the same. So we would validate now this template. And you see again, it passes with 0 errors. All the labels, all the classifications can be found. And also here there is an example where we have errors included. So let's see what happens here. We get 6 errors. We get, for example, here a data layer mismatch. The data layer material content does not exist. The type of data source, different data sources, also does not exist. And the solution to fix that is you go to the website that's shown here. So this one directly brings you to the list of data types and the layer table. So here you can choose a matching data layer for your data type. Material content is entered here. The layer we have here that would fit would be, for example, mass per area, mass per volume could be a suitable layer, or mass per unit. This is then the kilograms per car or per mobile phone. So this is likely, but you could also see whether something else fits better. This is the right layer to use. So please enter mass per unit instead of material content into this table. So you see here the data description in the table. I highlighted wrong labels, needs to be changed. The second one that doesn't work is the different data sources. So you can check the link here that's provided, the provenance table. The provenance table tells you the different data provenances. So you have to verbatim copy these into the table. So you could say, assuming this data template is the result of academic MFA work, we copy this into the data source type instead. And then next time the validator would pass. We also have a materials aspect mismatch. There is no aspect material. So we would go to the aspects table and see what we can do there. And here the answer is to either use the commodity aspect, or if you want to stay with material, it's material without the S. So again, we can check and correct the aspect here. So it's not materials, it's material. And then next time it will pass. So this is how you can step by step read the error messages, go back to your data template, correct the description, and then step by step fix the data template. We have a final error. This is now because we have materials listed as a wrong data aspect on the main sheet and engineering material listed in the data shape description section, and of course they don't match. So you can fix those templates step by step, upload them again to the validator. So we can, for example, save this one here. We have done, we have updated this classification. We have updated this one to material, but actually, and material content would be mass per unit. Let's see, we save this one, re-upload list template with errors and see what happens. So it's still the same error, and the reason is that I am working in a different folders. I think I need to work in the download folder. This is the one I changed. So now we have only 3 errors left with the uploaded file. Result of academic MFA work does not exist as type of source. This is correct because it's the provenance at the type of source. We need to actually look at the type of source is here. Let's say this dataset comes from a publicly available dataset from a dynamic web page. So this is the information we have to enter here. So another fix. And then we also have a mismatch here. The dataset for matching information tells you we want engineering material as data aspects, not just material, which is fine. We'll switch to engineering material. And now we re-upload it with the 2 additional fixes. You see now only one error is left. So step by step, we have moved our way us through. Now a new error occurs. The old ones have been fixed, the right provenance, the right aspects, and so on. But you see now we have a label mismatch. We have the label here, ICV, internal combustion engine vehicle, microcar conventional design. Again, what's wrong with here? If you look carefully, there is a spelling mistake. It says conventional, not conventional. So we need to add the O here. And since this is an instructive example, I have already highlighted the place where there is the mistake. Conventional design. Fix this one. So we had now to fix on the cover sheet and on the actual data sheet. And with all these fixes, you see now the validating works. The dataset passes the validation with no warnings and no errors. And you can export the report as a PDF if you want to. This gives you then a overview of the dataset description and the validation report. So this is the main step. It can be tough in the beginning if it's not clear what the different columns and aspects all mean, but we would be there also to help and provide you some guidance with it. So again, to wrap this up, the steps. First, check what type fits best to your data, lifetime, material composition, others. Then download one of these templates to format your data or ask us to provide you with a suitable template. So in this step 1 or 2, please also contact us already at information@indicolunifreiburg.de so we could guide you whether your data would be useful for the database in terms of size and in terms of content. So here we can already help you. Then format the data, copy them over to the data sheet, start the validation, fix step by step the cover sheet, the data sheet as well, the entries and the labels. And then once the validating routine passes, let us know again for a final check, and then we can upload your validated data to the industrial ecology data commons. And with that, we hope that we can reach a critical mass of data, especially in stocks and flows that are needed for material flow analysis, but also in terms of product composition, product lifetime, and product energy intensity for LCA, foreground system modeling, and also for material flow analysis when it's linked to energy and to product stock modeling. So please reach out to us. I think it's great advertisement to have your data systematically in a common data model with common classifications available for general use by the scientific community. Thank you.